Hello and welcome back to Serious About Salvage and another video on the channel. Today is the day we're going to get this engine out of this ML350. I'm determined it's coming out, so I'm just going to spin round and we're going to go straight into it. So yes, following on from the last video where I struggled for a day to get the upper sump, to get to the oil pump, and yeah, well, you know the story. So this engine's got to come out today. I don't think it's going to be that difficult now, in all fairness. Just from looking around it a little bit, we've got the main wiring loom here, which for some reason goes down in between the inner wing and the splash guard. So I need to take the splash guard out and see where that goes. So I need to disconnect that, pull it back, put it on the engine. We've got another wiring harness here, which is for the starter motor, I think. This one, luckily, is just them two there. So we can undo them, pull them out, put them on the engine. I think that's the majority of the wiring then, really. Down this side, nothing really, other than the engine mount. Down this side, the same basically, engine mount. We've got the aircon compressor to remove from the side of the engine, because that will save us then removing the aircon lines, which then will prevent the aircon from escaping, hopefully. And then really on the front we've got intake pipe, some radiator pipes. We're going to lose the cooling, unfortunately. That's just going to happen. And then it's a case of checking where all these other pipes go and what exactly they are. I think we've got an oil cooler for the gearbox, maybe in here somewhere. So there's some extra pipes going to this radiator, or is it aircon pipes? I don't know right now. Need to look at that. But then obviously we've got to go underneath it, undo the engine mounts, undo the bell housing from the engine, and also we need to undo the torque converter from the flywheel. I think that's about everything. This morning I've already taken off all the covers from the back, wiper linkage, scuttle panel, to give us plenty of room so the engine can pretty much come straight up, only has to come forwards a little bit, so we'll have plenty of space there between the radiator and the engine. So yeah, I think I'll just get on with all these little bits, because there's not really much recording I can do, not like you'll see anyway, until we're ready to pull the engine, I'm afraid. So I'm going to crack on, got quite a bit on, so yeah, hopefully when I come back to you we're going to be at a point where we're, if not at the point to pull the engine, very close. Right, well, I think we're ready to pull this engine up now. I can't see anything else that could snag it. There's nothing down there. Everything along the front is detached. Not need to worry about the aircon pipe there, because I've disconnected the aircon pump. So yeah, well, I've done the bell housing, and as you can see, the engine's just rocking and its engine mounts, they're undone. So really, yeah, I don't think there's anything other that we can do than hook it up to the hoist, start to lift it, and then obviously when we find anything else that's still attached, we just undo it as you go along then. There's going to be something, you can't see everything, but I think I've done as good as I can. So I think I'll just put you on the stand, and we'll hook it up. We've got two eyes. We've got one lifting eye there. We've got one there. So we'll get the hoist in, hook it up and start lifting and see. Hopefully she's free and nothing is going to snag. Fingers crossed. Alright, there we go. Engine is out. There were two things I'd missed. A bit of wiring loom underneath. These two in particular. I mean, well, them three. Hopefully I haven't done any damage there. But other than that, it came out pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not the biggest engine in the world. It's a decent size, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I need to look at that. So it just spins around. I mean, surely it shouldn't. Weird. How's the other one holding? Maybe that bolt's come loose on top. We'll have a look at that. But yeah, it's out. I like how Mercedes put the turbo in the V. So it keeps it all compact and nice, and all you're going to do then is disconnect the downpipe and just take the whole lot with it. Far easier than trying to take manifolds off. So that's going to give us some really good access now. So what I need to do next is remove, I'm not going to call it a flywheel, it's not, is it, on an auto? The ring gear for the starter. Remove this anyway, because I need to see that seal behind there that I've destroyed. And then it's going to have to lie on its back to remove the sump properly, get the oil pump out, and then we're waiting for parts, aren't we? So yeah, there we go, one big haul. Christ, it's going to be fun putting it back, I can tell you that. It's going to be fun putting it back. Interesting. But we're out. I feel a bit better about things now. I'll tell you, last week, end of that last video, oh, I was in a rotten mood. And this is great. So I need to figure out a bit of a pallet. Yeah, whip that wheel off and see where we get to. Right, okay, so now the engine's out and we've stripped it down a bit more. Unfortunately, I'm finding more and more damage. The bit of metal I found that I didn't know where it went, this piece, turns out to be a big end shell. That's the other half. And that should be round the end of the crank in that gap. And there's obviously a cup on the bottom that I've taken off. And there is somewhere to the end of the crank. So I'm at a point now where I'm going to have to get this engine checked out by a proper engine rebuild specialist and just see if it's savable. Now, because obviously also there's a bit of scoring where the cam goes in there. And I don't know anything about rebuilding engines, so yeah, I'm about to load it on the back of a vehicle and take it to an engine shop, let them have a look at it, and if they can rebuild it, get a quote. But yeah, we're proper deep into this one, aren't we? Yeah, well, there we go. I mean, they're going to be pulling the crank. If they rebuild it, the crank will be pulled, pistons will be pulled out. You can look in the bores, look up inside, bottom of the head, look at the valves, just stuff like that. Get it checked out properly, make sure, because there's way too much risk now. I can't put this back together and put it in. There'll be issues, I know there will, so it's got to be looked at by a specialist. And worst case, we are going to have to get a new engine, but we'll go through the steps, see where it takes us, and I'll take it to see them now. And when I have any information, I'll come back and I'll let you know what I'm doing, basically. So hopefully be back soon. Right, I'm back from the engine shop, and unfortunately the engine's still here. Reason being, it's just not cost effective to repair this engine. There's too much damage been done by the big end spinning. The block is basically scrap. The block of this engine is scrap. So to try and, buy a block and rebuild the rest of this engine up, not even knowing the condition of the heads, it's just not a good idea. The engine shop basically that's exactly what they said. So I'm gonna have to find a replacement engine. Excuse me. Now, I don't want to go down the lines of just buying a second-hand complete engine that's come straight out of a car and putting it in. You know, at minimum, you'd want to put a chain kit and an oil pump in it, just so that this doesn't happen again. But engines are, yeah, they're pretty pricey for these, unfortunately. The earlier model engines are half the price, but this later model 12 on, this version of the OM642 engine are quite rare and, yeah, expensive. So there is options. There is companies that do remanufactured or reconditioned bare engines. So, because I've got all my, ancillaries, I've got all the turbos, fine, manifolds, all the EGR system, intake manifold, all that kind of stuff would go straight up onto another one, no issues. And that's the kind of path I'm looking at. But I'm looking at other options as well at the minute. Got a few people to call, and hopefully we can sort something out, source something, and get straight into putting this back together, because I don't want, and we need to just get it done. It doesn't want to be sat around, mainly because I'll probably forget where everything goes, and that's the worst thing that could happen, because it's a very, very complicated engine. There's a lot of things going on in here, and yeah, I can't be going and starting other big jobs with that sat there, and all the stuff scattered around my unit. I put a lot of it in the back of it now, but yeah, the place is a tip, but I don't want to. It's like, for instance, all these injectors on here, they have to go back in the right order, so I can't move them, because I know in what order they go back in the engine as it is. Do you know what I mean? Because as far as I'm aware, they're coded to the ECU and stuff, so I would expect if I put another engine in, I've got to swap the injectors back to the originals. I don't know, I need to look into it, really. But unfortunately, all that work, and we found we got a dead engine, but it had to come out anyway, regardless, so I've wasted a bit of time, but made some videos on it. It's been interesting. I've learnt a lot, and next time I think it won't be quite as daunting. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to end the video on that note. Perhaps I'll update on Instagram when I have some news of an engine or what we're going to do, or I'll just update you in a video, because I do have a few things to do. I've got some more jobs to do to the Jeep. I've been using this, but parking sensors haven't been working properly, washer bottles leaking, and I'm getting a bit of a knock-in on this passenger front, and I still haven't painted that wheel. It's still silver. In all fairness, it's been parked up, it's been used a bit, it's been parked up quite a lot, but I need to get it dealt with, and it's probably going to be going down the road. Yeah, I don't know what to do yet, but that's next, I think. And then the Jeep Renegade as well we've got to fix. So we've got things to do whilst we're waiting for a solution with this ML. But yeah, unfortunately that's going to be it. As soon as I know something, I'll let you all know, and hopefully we can still do all right out of this ML. We'll see. Thanks for watching, massively appreciated. See you in the next one. Cheers.